Welcome to Innovation Pulse, your quick, no-nonsense update covering the latest in startups and entrepreneurship news. First, we will cover the latest news. Atlassian's $610 million acquisition of the browser company aims to integrate AI into web browsers, while Eyebot secures $20 million to expand its vision care kiosks. After this, we'll dive deep into the pitfalls of founder product obsession and the importance of genuine market validation. Next, we'll discuss the impact on SaaS optimization. Atlassian's acquisition of the browser company for $610 million is set to transform the way knowledge workers engage with web browsers. The browser company, known for its innovative Arc and Dia browsers, is reimagining browsers to be more than just tools for browsing. The goal is to create an AI-powered browser that seamlessly integrates with SaaS applications, optimizing the user experience for work rather than just browsing. This acquisition allows the browser company to maintain operational independence while leveraging Atlassian's resources to expedite development and expand platform support. The browser company has attracted significant investment, raising $128 million in total, with backing from notable investors such as Jeff Weiner of LinkedIn and Akshay Kothari of Notion. The company halted the development of its Arc browser to focus on Dia, aiming to deliver an enhanced, work-friendly browsing experience. This strategic move aligns with Atlassian's vision for a future where browsers enhance productivity, marking a significant shift towards a more integrated, AI-driven digital workspace. Eyebot, a startup founded in 2021 in Boston, revolutionizes vision care with its 90-second vision test kiosks that offer doctor-verified glasses prescriptions. These kiosks, located in high-traffic areas like malls, universities, and airports, eliminate traditional barriers such as appointment delays, insurance complexities, and high costs. The vision tests are free, and the results are reviewed by licensed eye doctors, ensuring both speed and medical accuracy. If results are unusual, patients are referred for a comprehensive exam. Having secured $20 million in Series A funding, Eyebot plans to expand its kiosk network and team. The company has already performed over 45,000 tests and anticipates scaling to 500,000 annually. Their model has proven successful, attracting partnerships with major U.S. companies and increasing revenue. Eyebot also leases kiosks to optical retailers and eyewear brands, further integrating into the optical industry. This unique blend of convenience and clinical oversight not only drives consumer trust, but also generates significant foot traffic for retailers. And now, pivot our discussion towards the main entrepreneurship topic.
All right, everybody, welcome to another deep dive on Innovation Pulse. I'm Donna, and today we're tackling something that hits way too close to home for a lot of founders out there.
Hey everyone, Yakov Lasker here. And boy, do we have a painful topic today. We're talking about founder product obsession. You know, that dangerous romance between entrepreneurs and their brilliant ideas that often leads to spectacular crashes and burned cash.
Oh man, the romance analogy is perfect, because it really is like watching someone fall head over heels for the wrong person, isn't it?
Exactly. And here's the kicker. The numbers are absolutely brutal. We're looking at research showing that a staggering 42% of startups fail because there's simply no market need for what they've built. That's not a small minority. That's nearly half of all failed startups.
42%. That means if you're sitting in a room with 10 failed founders, 4 of them basically spent months or years building something that nobody actually wanted. But here's what gets me. It's not that these founders are stupid or lazy.
Not at all. In fact, it's often the smartest, most passionate founders who fall into this trap the hardest. They get so excited about solving what they see as an elegant technical problem that they forget to ask the most basic question. Does anyone actually care?
Right. And that's where the psychology gets really interesting. There's this thing called confirmation bias, and it's like a superpower for ignoring reality. Tell me more about how this plays out.
So picture this. You've got this brilliant idea for, say, a meal kit service. You're convinced it's going to revolutionize how people cook. You start talking to potential customers, but here's the trap. You're unconsciously asking leading questions. Instead of, how do you currently handle dinner planning? You're asking, wouldn't it be amazing if fresh ingredients just showed up at your door?
Oh no, I can see where this is going. You're basically coaching people to give you the answer you want to hear.
Exactly. And then there's the social politeness factor. Most people, especially friends and family, don't want to crush your dreams. So they say things like, oh, that sounds interesting. Or, I could see myself using that. The founder hears validation, but what the person really means is, I'm being polite because I care about you.
This reminds me of that startup dinner that tried to do exactly this. Meal kits. They were so convinced of their vision that they never properly validated whether people actually preferred buying ingredients from local stores or just ordering takeout. They basically fell in love with their own idea instead of falling in love with their customers' real problems.
That's a perfect example. And here's what makes it even more dangerous. Once you've invested time, money, and ego into an idea, it becomes incredibly hard to pivot. There's research showing that founders overestimate the value of their intellectual property by 255% before they achieve product market fit.
255%. That's not just optimism, that's like living in an alternate reality.
And it gets worse. The data shows that 70% of startups scale prematurely along some dimension. They start hiring, spending on marketing, building features, all before they've actually proven that people want what they're selling.
So they're basically doubling down on a losing bet. But here's what I want to understand. How do founders end up filtering feedback so selectively? Because it can't just be about asking leading questions.
Great question. There are actually several layers to this. First, there's what researchers call cherry picking. Founders literally highlight the positive quotes from customer interviews while ignoring negative patterns. Second, they often label people with dissenting opinions as edge cases or not our target market.
Oh, that's the classic, they just don't get it response.
Exactly, and then there's the network effect problem. A lot of founders start by talking to people they know, friends, colleagues, people in their immediate circle. But these folks are naturally more supportive and less likely to give brutal, honest feedback.
Plus, they might not even be representative of your actual target market. Your college roommate might love your B2B software idea, but if they've never worked in the industry you're targeting, their opinion is basically worthless.
Right! And here's where it gets really insidious. There's something called the false consensus effect, where we assume that other people think the way we do. So if you're a tech founder who loves elegant code and beautiful interfaces, you might assume all users care about those things as much as you do.
When in reality, users just want their problem solved. They don't care if your backend is using the latest microservices architecture.
Precisely, and this leads to what product experts call user research theater, going through the motions of talking to customers without actually being open to having your assumptions challenged.
That phrase is so good. User research theater. It's like you're putting on a performance where you pretend to care about feedback, but you've already decided what the ending should be.
And the consequences are devastating. We're talking about startups burning through months or years of runway, hiring teams, building features that nobody wants. There was a company called Navdi that spent massive amounts developing a heads-up display for cars, convinced that drivers desperately needed GPS directions projected on their windshields.
Let me guess. It turned out that most people thought it was more of a distraction than a help.
Exactly. Customers complained that it actually blocked their vision and didn't solve a real problem. They were charging $7.99 for something that created new problems instead of solving existing ones. If they had done proper market validation instead of falling in love with the technology, they could have saved millions.
So what's the antidote here? How do founders protect themselves from their own enthusiasm?
First, you have to actively seek disconfirming evidence. Instead of trying to prove your idea is brilliant, try to prove it's terrible. Ask questions like, what are the main drawbacks of this approach? Or, when would you definitely not use this?
That's counterintuitive, but makes total sense. You're basically trying to break your own product before the market does.
Exactly. And here's a practical tip. Distance yourself from the emotional investment when you're doing customer research. Some founders even pretend they're evaluating the idea for someone else, or that it's just a class project. The moment people realize you're personally invested, they start softening their feedback.
I love that. It's like going undercover in your own market research.
Another crucial strategy is to focus on behavior, not opinions. Don't just ask people what they think. Ask them to actually try to buy your product, even if it's just a mock-up. The number of people who say, I totally use that, versus the number who actually pull out their credit card tells you everything you need to know.
That's brutal but necessary. Because talk is cheap, but money is honest.
Absolutely, and here's something that might sound harsh. Start selling to strangers, not friends. Your friends will buy from you out of loyalty. Strangers will only buy if you're actually solving their problem.
That makes sense. Your friend might buy your product to support you, but that doesn't mean you have product market fit.
Right. And there's one more thing that's really important. Diversify your research participants. Don't just talk to your most enthusiastic early adopters. Talk to people who tried your product and didn't continue using it. Talk to people who chose your competitor. Talk to people who decided to stick with the status quo.
Because if you only talk to people who love your product, you're creating an echo chamber.
Exactly, and here's what's really interesting. Some successful companies have actually celebrated when they killed features based on user research. They had pivot parties where they popped champagne when the team made a major course crew correction.
I love that. Instead of being attached to being right, they were attached to learning and adapting.
That's the mindset shift that separates successful founders from the ones who crash and burn. It's about falling in love with the problem, not your solution.
So if you're a founder listening to this, and you're thinking, oh no, this might be me, what's the first step they should take tomorrow?
Start by identifying your riskiest assumptions. What beliefs about your market, your customers, or your product would completely invalidate your business if they were wrong? Then design the cheapest, fastest experiments to test those assumptions.
And be prepared for the possibility that your assumptions are wrong. Because according to the research, startups need 2 to 3 times longer to validate their market than most founders expect.
Which means if you think it'll take 3 months to prove product market fit, budget for 9 months. And if you think you'll need 100K to get there, maybe you actually need 300K.
The data is really clear here. Patience in the validation phase can save you from years of building the wrong thing. It's much cheaper to fail fast with experiments than to fail slow with a fully built product.
And remember, 90% of startups fail overall. The founders who succeed aren't necessarily smarter or more talented. They're the ones who are willing to be wrong, learn quickly, and change course when the evidence points in a different direction.
So the bottom line is this: fall in love with your customers' problems, not your solution. Ask hard questions, seek out criticism, and let the market guide your product decisions rather than your ego.
And if you're finding it hard to get honest feedback, that might be a sign that you need to step back and really examine whether you're unconsciously filtering what you're hearing. The market is always right, even when it's telling you something you don't want to hear.
Such a powerful reminder. Building a successful startup isn't about having the best idea. It's about having the most accurate understanding of what people actually need and are willing to pay for.
So maybe challenge yourself this week. If you're working on a startup, go find 3 people who would be in your target market and ask them the hardest questions you can think of about your product. Don't try to sell them on it, just listen.
And be prepared for the possibility that what you learn might change everything about your approach. That's not failure. That's the beginning of building something people actually want.
Thanks for tuning in to Innovation Pulse, everyone. Remember, the most successful founders aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who fail fast, learn quickly, and adapt based on real market feedback.
Until next time, keep innovating, keep questioning your assumptions, and most importantly, keep listening to your customers. See you next week.
That wraps up today's podcast, where we explored how Atlassian's acquisition is set to transform web browsers with AI and discussed the importance of solving real customer problems over founder biases. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode with your friends and colleagues so they can also stay updated on the latest news and gain powerful insights. Stay tuned for more updates.